Thank you so much for being here for Fridays at the Studio with ATC Studios. I am Kathleen Colette, the Artistic Director of ATC Studios, and it is my supreme honor to be hosting this evening for you tonight. These evenings are always free. Of course, donations are always gratefully accepted because as a 501c3, ATC Studios gratefully accepts donations of any amount, and it is indeed your donations, your tax-deductible donations, that enable us to bring this kind of programming to the general public. We are thrilled that these readings now extend around the world. We often have fully international audiences on these Zoom meetings. If you would like to be kept abreast of all of our programming, including our classes, I invite you to join our newsletter list. The newsletter comes out on Mondays, and I promise we do not spam. So tonight's offering is Family Tree by Colette Cullen. And we are thrilled to be continuing our international draw with this new play by an Irish playwright. Colette is actually joining us tonight from across the pond. This particular evening is directed by Susan Jane McDonald, and the cast features Tara Haight, Sean Jordan, Lesley Miller, and Morgan Wardlaw. The descriptions will be read by Susan McDonald. And now, Family Tree by Colette Cullen.
Characters: Adam married to Sara, Sara married to Adam, Fiona married to Rachel, Rachel married to Fiona. Sara and Adam, well-dressed, enter their pristine and salubrious sitting room. There are two couches facing one another with a coffee table in between. There's an exit to the kitchen and one to the hall. Adam heads for the mirror to fix his already perfect shirt. Sara tidies the already immaculately tidy room.
You sure this was a good idea?
A bit late to be having doubts about it now, don't you think?
I've been having doubts about it all along. You just weren't listening to me as usual.
It isn't just a good idea, it's a great idea. It's one of the best ideas I've had in a long time, to be honest.
Why couldn't you just leave it to the clinic and the lawyers to sort out? It's what you're paying them for, isn't it?
I've been off my game for a little while now, but, you know, with all this going on and everything.
What do you always say? Why pay the piper and play the tune yourself?
You're joking. The clinic caused this screw up in the first place. All they want is to make it go away as fast and as cheaply as possible. But we're going to make them pay. We'll draw every last ounce of blood from them.
Oh, Adam, you can just drop all of that for now.
The Reinhardts, top medical malpractice firm in the state. They're just chomping at the bit to get stuck in. Don't worry, any hint of provocation or shilly-shallying, and we'll be slugging it out in court. I don't care who they have on their side. Rest assured, the best is on ours.
I don't care about any of that. It might make you feel better, but it does nothing for me.
I know. I know it doesn't.
Why put ourselves through this?
You heard what they said. We don't have a legal leg to stand on.
What will this achieve then?
Hello, we're not holding many cards here. This is the only game in town.
You see this as some sort of game?
Of course not. But if we really want this to happen, we've got to make it happen for ourselves. That's all I'm saying.
How? How exactly are we going to do that?
Look, I've got years of experience in difficult negotiations. It's what I do. It's my thing. Trust me, I can do this.
This isn't a business deal you can coax over the line, Adam, or some macho game of whose dick is bigger than whose. That's what's worrying me. You.
Me? I found them, didn't I?
See, you're doing it now, making it sound like one of your corporate bonding games.
And I persuaded them to come here tonight. That wasn't an easy sell, I can tell you.
See, there you are calling it a sell. We're not buying or selling anything here, Adam. Don't you get that? These aren't business people sitting down to negotiate. They're ordinary people like you and me with the same hopes, dreams, and disappointments.
And the one important difference, they have what we want, what we both wanted for how many years now? They have what's rightfully ours, and it's our job to persuade them to give it back.
We're going to succeed using that approach?
No, of course not. That's not my negotiating stance. I'm just laying out the groundwork for you. You're worried I can't do sensitive? I can do sensitive. Don't you worry about that. I can definitely do sensitive. I do sensitive all the time when I have to.
That's precisely what I'm worried about.
Didn't I do sensitive to win you all those years ago?
All those years ago makes us sound ancient. Just got me at a weak moment, that's all.
And that's what I'll do with them. I'll get them at a weak moment.
You always think you can schmooze your way out of anything, don't you?
I'm sure going to give it my best shot. What have we got to lose, right? Look, it's important to remember you and me are on the same side, okay? And that's the winning side. We have to present a united front here or we're doomed before we even start.
We're doomed anyway.
A positive mental attitude is also important in any negotiation. We actually do mindfulness now in business, you know.
Christ, what's the time? They'll be here any minute.
Technically, they're a minute late.
The doorbell rings.
Oh, that's them. That's them. Do I look okay? Is my hair?
You look beautiful. Don't worry, I'll get the door.
Sara crosses her fingers, crosses her arms behind her back, and then crosses her legs.
This is Sara.
Pleased to meet you. Rachel.
And this is Fiona.
Pleased to meet you, Fiona.
Hi.
Please have a seat.
Thanks so much for coming.
Everybody stays standing.
Did you find us all right?
Look, I don't really know what we're doing here. I didn't want to come, but Fiona did, so.
We're glad you did. Aren't we, Sara?
Yes. Yes, very glad.
Why don't you take a seat and we can have a little chat?
Yeah, that's exactly my point. What is it we're supposed to be chatting about? And while we're at it, how did you get our number?
Would you like something to drink? We've got...
Tea, coffee, mineral water, juice.
Or if you fancy something stronger, we've got wine, gin, whiskey.
Yes. How did you get our number?
Adam?
At the clinic.
The clinic gave you our number.
Well, not exactly. It was a little more delicate than that.
We're all ears.
Just tell them, Adam.
When they discovered what had happened, you know, the reason we're all here, they were all a bit at 6s and 7s, as you can imagine.
We don't have to imagine we were there. It happened to us too.
Of course. Of course it did. An absolute nightmare for all of us, which is what we want to talk about. So if you'd like to take a seat.
That's how you got our number, remember?
Yes. Can you please get back to that?
Of course, of course. Well, there were 2 files on the desk in the office they brought us into. You know that little office behind the reception area where they give you the bad news? Not sure if they take you there to give you good news, as unfortunately all the news we've gotten so far has been bad.
Yes, you said that on the phone.
Our number.
Yes. So as I was saying, there were 2 files on the desk, ours and...
Ours. And?
And the highlight sheet, I think that's the technical term, was partially visible.
With our contact details on it.
Yes.
You memorized it?
Adam does have a photographic memory.
Well, with a little help from...
You photographed it?
Okay, surely that must be some breach of like data protection law or GDPR or some other law.
I'd take that up with the clinic if I were you.
But what about our right to privacy?
I'm not giving you legal advice, mind you. Not my area of expertise. But my guess is you'd have a pretty strong case.
Okay, she's not talking about suing the clinic. She's talking about you respecting our right to privacy.
I didn't breach any law, if that's what you're getting at. Don't worry, I checked that out with one of my partners before contacting you.
Okay, we don't mean some legal right, but our moral right to privacy. Like, did you even consider that? The morality of looking at someone's confidential medical file and then photographing it in your mind or on your phone or whatever?
I gotta be honest with you, I'm a lawyer, not a priest.
See, I was right. We shouldn't have come here. You should never have agreed to meet them. They're not our kind of people, Fiona.
Look, for the record, I agree with you. I didn't know how Adam got your number until after he called you and made this arrangement.
What happened to us being on the same side, Sara?
Adam, I told you it wasn't a game. Look, I'm sorry about how Adam acquired your number. He gets carried away and sometimes, you know, anyway, you're here now, so won't you just please sit down and hear us out?
Come on, Fiona, let's go. They're playing this is a classic good cop, bad cop routine.
I assure you, I am not playing any games. Please.
I invited you here to our home because I thought it would be more relaxed, less formal than a hotel or at the clinic.
Fiona.
How about some drinks so we can get to know each other? Unfortunately, through no fault of our own, we all find ourselves in this position.
We should leave, Fiona. We should leave now.
We're not the baddies here, really. We're not. All we want is to talk through what happened and see where we can go from there.
Fiona, I really think we should go. You can't trust them.
Please, Fiona, just hear us out. That's all we're asking.
Can't you see what they're doing, Fiona? Classic case of divide and conquer.
I'll have tea, please, Sara.
Fiona sits down on one of the couches.
Of course not. You always see the world as you want and not what it actually is.
Please, Rachel.
This is a mistake, Fiona. A big mistake.
Let's just hear them out. What's the harm in that?
And we leave straight after?
Yes, we leave straight after.
Rachel plunks herself down beside her.
Well, if we're staying for tea, I'll have a glass of red wine if you're opening a bottle.
Yes, we are. We drink red wine a lot. Well, I don't mean a lot in that sense. Just if we're drinking wine, we drink red too. Isn't that right, Sara? So it's you that's...
Yes, it's me that's pregnant.
Okay. While Sara makes the tea, I'll open the wine. Please make yourselves comfortable.
Make yourselves comfortable.
Rachel.
What exactly are we doing here? This is ridiculous. I thought he told you she was having some nervous breakdown. Doesn't look that way to me. Only one having a nervous breakdown is me.
Please, Rachel. He didn't exactly say she was having a nervous breakdown, just that she was very fragile.
Well, she doesn't seem very fragile to me either.
Give them a chance. They're nervous. It's way worse for them than it is for us.
God, you always look at everything from the other person's point of view. It's so irritating. But in this case, it's also potentially dangerous. I wish sometimes you'd just look at it from our point of view for a change. I mean, he just trampled all over our basic human rights. And that clinic, don't get me started on that clinic. We can add this to our long list of now growing grievances. So we're going to take them to the cleaners. I mean, talk about incompetence and downright negligence. You heard what that lawyer said.
Can you just drop that for now? And please don't start an argument with them. All this is stressful enough as it is.
Adam returns carrying a tray with a bottle of red wine, wine glasses, and a fancy wine aerator on it, and decanter. He proceeds to open the wine, decant it, and then perform an elaborate aeration routine. When he's finally decided that it's ready for human consumption, he pours it into the glasses.
We bought a couple of crates back from holiday last year in France. Got it for our song, direct from the vineyard. This is one of the last few bottles left. We didn't drink it all ourselves, of course. Had a few parties, had some friends over, that sort of thing. Not that, not that we're big party animals or anything. I don't want you to get the wrong impression.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Rachel,
Sarah's will be over in a jiffy with the tea. Did she ask what kind you wanted? We've got Indian, Chinese, Earl Grey.
oh, whatever. Ordinary is fine.
That's probably what she's making. Got a pretty powerful nose.
Yeah.
It's got a great palate with a long finish. What do you think of that finish?
Great. Yeah.
Rachel did a wine appreciation course a few years ago.
Oh, a bit of a connoisseur then, huh?
No, not really. Forgotten most of it.
She could tell the country and grape of virtually any bottle of wine.
That's impressive.
It was kind of her party trick for a while.
Well, we're not at a party now.
Here, Fiona, you can help yourself. I'm not sure how strong you like it. Adam likes builder's tea. I like it weak.
Thanks.
Fiona was just saying how Rachel's a bit of a wine buff.
Really?
I just took an evening class at a local off license. That's all. It was nothing special.
I gotta look into taking one of those for myself.
Oh, to impress your clients when you take them out to lunch.
Yeah, you know me too well.
Sara and Adam sit.
Okay, so now that the pleasantries are over, and can we get down to business?
A woman after my own heart.
Fiona.
Well, as Rachel said, she didn't think it was a good idea meeting.
To put it mildly.
Rachel?
Sorry, go on.
And to meet you here. But the reason I agreed was because I wanted you to meet us and see what good parents we are. I thought it would be easier for you if we did that in your home.
To put your minds at ease, so to speak.
Reassure you.
And we appreciate that, don't we, Sara?
If you want to ask us any questions before we go, then fire away.
Within reason, of course.
So you're going ahead with the pregnancy?
Yes, we're keeping the baby.
Our baby.
Excuse me?
How has the pregnancy been going?
Fine. Everything's been going fine.
And you've been to all your checkups?
Hold on. This is not an inquisition.
You said we could ask questions?
Reasonable questions.
Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I'm just curious, that's all.
We'd like to know if everything is okay with our baby. That seems reasonable enough to me.
It's okay, Rachel. I don't mind answering. Yes, I've been to all my checkups.
We've been.
Yes, Rachel and I.
That's good.
And me and the baby are both doing fine.
That's really good. Don't you think so?
Particularly given the circumstances and the stress Fiona's been under.
We've all been under.
And you've considered all of the options?
All of the options?
Of course we have. We're not idiots.
Rachel? I'm not having a termination like the clinic wants, if that's what you mean. I'm keeping the baby.
And that's a relief, isn't it, Sara?
And what about when the baby is born?
We'll be raising him or her, obviously.
Obviously.
Sara.
What about giving our baby back to us? His or her rightful parents, to the parents he or she should have been with all along. Have you considered the morality of that?
Sara, please.
I'm sorry, Adam. I can't pussyfoot around this all evening,
What Sara is trying to say.
What Sarah's trying to say is perfectly clear.
The reason Adam invited you over this evening is for you to see what good parents will be to our own baby, which, as you can imagine, is a very particular position to be in.
We're all in a very particular situation.
And what a good home we'll be giving him or her. You don't know what sex the baby is, do you?
Why does that matter to you?
No, of course not. Just curious, that's all.
It's much too soon to know the gender, Adam.
Yes, of course. I can give you the grand tour if you like, show you where his or her bedroom will be. We've got identical rooms. One's decorated for a boy and the other for a girl. We've covered all the bases, as you can see.
No thanks. We're fine here.
We've decorated a bedroom for her or him too.
Gender neutral, of course.
The baby you're carrying is genetically ours. It has nothing to do with either of you. Surely you can see that.
How dare you?
That's not how we see it.
No?
How do you see it? That's what we want to establish. How exactly do you see it? So maybe we can find some common ground.
It's quite simple, really.
Simple.
Yes, simple. Fiona went to the fertility clinic to get pregnant, and now she is. End of. Except for the pressure they put her under to terminate, we're happy with the current situation.
Oh, you're happy.
Happy is probably overstating it a bit. We obviously would have preferred the except not to have happened, but it did, and we just have to get on with it.
You can't control everything in life.
Oh, that's okay for you to say. You're the one pregnant and I'm not.
We're obviously sorry about that.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much for that.
But it's our baby that you're carrying. Surely you've got to see that.
I'm carrying a baby. Our baby. That's how we see it.
Rachel and Fiona hold hands.
But the baby isn't yours genetically. It's not related to either of you in any way. It's a complete stranger.
Of course it's not a complete stranger.
How can our baby be a complete stranger when she or he is living in my body? Hearing me breathe, feeling my heartbeat, listening to me talk to her or him every day.
And me. I talk to her or him every day too.
But not having a genetic connection, doesn't that bother you, either of you at all?
No.
Really?
Look, I know it might not be the same for a,
Same sex.
yes, a same-sex couple as it is for us.
That baby is our flesh and blood. You've got to acknowledge that.
Can't argue with a scientific fact.
Well, legally the baby is ours. Fiona's and mine. We're its legal parents. Fiona's the legal mother. You can't argue with who will be giving birth to her or him.
You know, legally in many countries, the genetic parents are the legal parents.
Yeah, but not here. The legal position is quite clear.
We've taken advice.
How do you think the child will feel when it finds out it's not really your child at all?
But it is our child. It's connected to me through the placenta. It breathes because I breathe. It lives because I live.
And at this moment, it has no physical connection to either of you two at all.
Due to human error. What if your embryo was living in my body? How would you feel then?
No idea.
Look, sorry for being so blunt, but you had your chance to give life, and it didn't work. Fiona had the exact same chance, and it did. It's the luck of the draw.
Luck.
And to a monumental fuck up that clinic is going to pay dearly for. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one.
We're not talking about that side of things now, Adam. I mean, who knows what would have happened if there hadn't been that, what you call a mix-up. We both might be pregnant now.
Obviously, that would have been the better outcome, but unfortunately, that's not the case.
Well, you two don't seem to be that concerned about the so-called mix-up. I wonder why that is.
Excuse me? What's she getting at, Rachel?
I have absolutely no idea. What are you trying to imply, Sara?
Look, this is getting us nowhere. All right, let's all calm down. Is anybody hungry? We were hoping you'd stay for dinner. It's never a good idea to discuss contentious matters on an empty stomach. I think it's got to do with blood sugar levels being high or low or something like that.
It's low blood sugar levels that cause people to become irritable.
You think we're irritable because we don't want to hand our baby over to you?
Of course not. We're just trying to be hospitable here.
Rachel gets up.
You're right. We're getting nowhere. I think we should leave. Fiona?
Please don't go yet. Just stay for a little bit longer. Look, I'm sorry. I know this is difficult for you too. Isn't that right, Sara? Here, let me top all of us off.
He pours more wine.
How are you doing on the tea there, Fiona?
Fine. I'm doing fine. Thanks, Adam.
What do you two do for a living?
We're both designers.
As you know, I'm a lawyer and Sarah's an academic. The history of art's her subject.
That accounts for all the art in the hall.
Yeah, Sarah's got a great eye.
We have a really nice collection.
What other investment can you decorate your house with? I mean, even when the stock market crashes, art can go up in value, making it a huge, great diversification investment. Are you two interested in art at all?
Yes, but not for its investment potential.
We both did fine art in college.
Is that how you met?
No,
We went to different colleges.
at different times.
Sara is head of her department. She's got long holidays and can just about pick and choose her working hours at this stage. Can't you, Sara? Who
We run our business so we can share childcare.
and how might that work?
It depends on what needs doing. I'm a graphic designer, so I do all of the merchandising, website design, packaging. A lot of it I can do from home.
That's handy.
And I'm the product designer, so I'm responsible for ordering, project development, the warehouse,
The hiring and firing.
everything else, really.
Basically, the nuts and bolts side of things.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that.
How many IVF cycles have you done?
This was my first.
And last one. It's been a nightmare from start to finish, and not just because of the mix-up.
Yeah, tell us about it.
It was our fifth.
Oh, gosh.
Imagine what it's like having to go through that 5 times.
Very difficult.
And before that, 4 IUIs. And before that, 4 years of trying.
Must have been so hard on you both.
To put it mildly.
That's 9 babies that didn't make it. 9. I have names for all of them. Do you want to hear them?
Sara, there's no need for that.
And I have a name for our baby that did make it. That's still alive. The one that you're carrying.
Okay, come on, Fiona. This is really weirding me out.
I'm sorry you've lost so many pregnancies. That must have been devastating for you both. I know how it feels when your body doesn't do what everyone else's seems to do without any effort.
You've got no idea.
Imagine living in a house with 9 ghosts.
Sara, I don't think that's moving things along.
And now our only chance of bringing some new life in and driving all of those ghosts away.
You could try again.
Maybe the 6th time you'll be lucky.
Actually, we were lucky the 5th time.
That's our baby you're carrying. There's no getting away from that.
I think we should go, Fiona.
It's alive. Our baby is alive inside you.
You have any idea how that makes us feel?
I can see it's a difficult situation for you.
Difficult.
Thank you for acknowledging that, Fiona.
We're all in a difficult situation.
But you're the one who's holding all of our fates in your hands. Or, in this case, womb.
Sara.
Well, it's true, Adam. That's what all of this is about.
Look, I thought coming here would be helpful.
And it is, Fiona. We appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. Don't we, Sara?
Fiona, can we go now? Look, it was a nice idea coming here, but
Please don't go. Sara made some lovely dips and her own bread too. Everything from scratch. No shortcuts with Sara. She's a great cook. Please go get them, darling. Please, Sara. And more tea for Fiona. So you're both designers. Is that how you met at work?
no.
Sara returns with a tray of dips and homemade bread.
I was just asking the girls how they met. People meet in all sorts of different places, mainly online nowadays, apparently. There's apps and things
We
like
met in a
that.
book group.
Oh, that's a new one.
A variant on meeting someone at an evening class, I suppose.
And are you married?
Yes, 4 years. We're married 4 years.
We just celebrated our 10th.
Congratulations.
So how did you two meet?
It was all very boring, really.
I needed an evaluation on an art collection, and someone suggested Sara.
I thought you were a lawyer.
A corporate lawyer.
I was working for a large investment bank at the time. The art was being used as collateral on a large loan. We were both married to other people at the time.
Technically, I was waiting for my divorce to be finalized. See, I told you it's very boring.
And Allison and I were still going through our troubles.
Technically, all ancient history now.
Let me ask you something. Who does the proposing in a same-sex relationship?
Adam.
I'm just curious. Which one of you proposed, for instance?
Neither of us.
It kind of just happened.
We just knew we'd get married one day. So.
Yeah, but who suggested it first? I mean, that's the person who did the proposing, surely.
You're not in the witness box, Adam.
Oh, we both always wanted to go to Provincetown.
So when we were planning that trip, we decided to make it our honeymoon.
And so if we were having a honeymoon,
There'd have to be a wedding.
Not very romantic.
It was, actually.
how did you propose? I'm assuming it was you that did the proposing.
Oh, it certainly was. I had it all planned. It was supposed to be very romantic.
Oh, not that old story, Adam.
In Paris,
Oh, that is romantic.
at the top of the Eiffel Tower, at night, with the lights of the city twinkling all around us, just like the diamonds on the ring.
Very romantic.
Your secretary probably put that idea into your head.
But I couldn't get Sara past the first floor.
It was a very wet and windy night.
In fairness, you weren't exactly dressed for the occasion, dear.
Well, you told me we were going to a fancy dinner in a fancy restaurant.
A very tight dress and skyscraper heels. You looked very sexy.
Maybe your secretary didn't come up with a better ruse.
Anyway, I had to drop on one knee outside the cafe and the gift shop.
Oh, with a gaggle of Japanese tourists clicking away all around us.
And then we went up to the top and we celebrated with a glass of champagne.
With many glasses of champagne, as I recall.
Yep. So, it all ended up well in the long run.
But that was a relief.
Yes, it sure was.
I'll get some more bread.
That was long before the endless disappointments of trying to start a family. It takes the romance and a lot more right out of a relationship. But you know all that, of course.
Well, it hasn't been as protracted for us as it's been for you.
But still stressful enough.
Yes, still stressful enough.
So you two have a pretty good skill set mix. What kind of business are you in?
Retail.
You have a store?
Store and an online division.
Online. Now that's where the money is. You want to establish a brand. That's the secret. Then you can have a franchise. You probably know all that. You have professional advisors, I take it. Would I know any of your stores? Maybe I've been in one of them. That'd be pretty funny.
Yes, very funny. They're adult stores.
Erotic boutiques.
Sex shops.
Sex shops? Why on earth are you talking about sex shops, Adam? I leave the table for a minute and I come back and you're talking about sex shops? I'm sure Rachel and Fiona have no interest in talking about sex shops. The last sex shop you were in was in Amsterdam on your stag weekend. I'm sure they're very different now. It's probably all online. The biggest use of the internet is pornography and recipes, sex and food. Basics, I suppose.
They run a chain of sex shops.
3.
Sara almost drops the bread.
With an online division.
Our baby will be living in a sex shop and you've the nerve to lecture me about morality?
Of course not. That's our business, not where we live, which is
And there's nothing immoral about our business. I can assure you of that.
an ordinary semi-detached house in an estate in the suburbs.
A very nice suburb.
Yes, lots of green spaces and parks, which is why we chose it.
But is that the right sort of environment for bringing up children?
It's a very family-oriented community.
With great local schools.
Say he or she gets asked in school what their parents do for a living. What do they say?
That they run their own business. That's what we said at school. My father is a businessman. I never knew what business he was in when I was a kid. Wasn't really interested, to be honest, as long as he brought home the bacon. Still not exactly sure what he does, and still have absolutely no interest.
You got a point there.
Adam,
Sorry, but she does. I mean, my dad was a bit of a wheeler dealer. Never knew exactly what business he was in at any one time. He used to tell us to say he was an inventor, or if anyone asked. I have no idea if he actually invented anything in his life.
I strongly doubt that.
Adam hands the dips and bread around and empties the rest of the wine into their glasses.
Here, tuck in, drink up.
Sex shops. Didn't think this situation could get any more bizarre.
I'm tempted to ask how you got into that particular line of business.
Then please desist.
We saw a gap in the market.
A gap.
Yes. Sex shops that cater to women.
Like?
Every kind of woman. Gay, straight, and everything in between.
Please don't ask them to explain everything in between.
You know, ones that aren't sleazy.
Sex shops that aren't sleazy. Who knew?
Sex shops for couples going through IVF. Now that is a gap in the market. Heterosexual couples, I mean. You know, having to perform like a circus monkey while your wife is in the next room with her legs up in stirrups. Takes the romance.
I don't need to go into graphic detail, Adam.
I was just...
We get the picture.
Doesn't really apply to you, I suppose.
Adam.
Our sex shops are good for any sort of couples. As we said, they're not sleazy or intimidating.
And I guess there's always online for the shyer customer, right?
Exactly.
Any chance we could move off the subject of sex shops?
Well, he asked.
She's right. I did.
More tea, Fiona? Has it gone cold?
No thanks, Sara. It's fine.
Juice, mineral water. We've still got sparkling water, don't we, Sara?
Yes, still sparkling and flavored.
I'll have some sparkling then.
Ice and lemon.
That'd be great, Adam.
So the whole genetic thing really doesn't bother you?
Nope, not at all.
I find that hard to believe. If genes don't matter, why didn't Rachel have your baby when you found out you couldn't get pregnant? Not without IVF.
Adam returns with the mineral water and puts it down in front of Fiona.
Much less expensive for starters.
Everything's not always about money, Adam.
I know, Sara. I was just trying to make a little joke, you know, lighten the mood a little bit.
Well, as you can see, no one's laughing.
Surely that's one of the biggest advantages of two women, right? Together, if you want a family.
Well, I wouldn't say biggest advantage.
How many times have I said it, Sara? How I wish it was me going through all that endless prodding, poking, and injections. All I had to do was...
We've already heard enough about what you've had to do.
Yeah, if this situation was reversed, there's no way men would go through what women have to go through. No way. Someone would have thought of a better solution. I'm sure of it.
But you got to admit, it is an advantage. Two women, double the odds.
I have given birth, actually.
You have?
To twins.
You have twins?
A boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl.
Yes, a boy and a girl.
3 next month.
And did you use the same clinic?
No, we did it ourselves.
You did it yourselves.
Yes. Using fresh sperm.
Fresh sperm.
No, not from a sperm bank.
Fresh sperm from a live donor.
A live donor.
Yes, someone who came to our house for the purpose of giving us his sperm.
So it's fresh, not frozen.
Where did you get this person from, if you don't mind me asking?
We advertised.
You advertised.
We couldn't make up our mind on what kind of donor to use. One of my brothers, a friend, a sperm bank.
So we wrote down all the possibilities on individual Post-it notes and
Them up?
put them in a hat,
Well, actually, it was a bowl.
put them in a bowl.
And I pulled out advertise.
There's publications online, forums for men who are willing to donate their sperm.
But why not go to a sperm bank? Surely it's safer.
But more expensive.
And it wasn't the economic reasons, it was because we wanted the sperm to be fresh,
Or there'd be a greater chance of it working.
which it did for me.
But not for me. I used 6 different donors, including 2 from a sperm bank, but I couldn't get pregnant.
Which is how we ended up going down the IVF route.
Wow. I guess you learn something new every day, huh?
Advertising for fresh sperm. Incredible.
Do you have to pay these sperm donors?
Think you're making a career change, Adam?
Expensive sometimes, but mostly not.
So why would...
I don't know. I never asked.
Mainly to help couples like us out, I think.
For altruistic reasons, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
The donors we picked all had health checks, so we didn't put ourselves at risk.
I find all this fascinating.
What I don't understand is if you already have a family, why are you so desperate for a third child, particularly a third child that isn't yours?
Yeah, why put yourself through all this?
Well, I didn't think this was going to happen, obviously.
We'd be happy with one child. More than happy with one. Over the moon with one.
Okay, we're not desperate. Plenty of couples want more than one child.
What's wrong with that?
You're having our baby, not your baby, and you intend to keep it. That's what's wrong with that.
You want to keep something that's not rightfully yours.
This is my baby, and I'm keeping it.
Of course you are. We are. Don't listen to them. I told you it wasn't a good idea to come here. You've been under enough pressure as it is, okay? Why put yourself through more?
I don't understand. If genes don't matter, then why is it so important for you to have your own baby when you already have 2?
Okay, we already always planned on having one each. I went first because I'm older, and Fiona, lo and behold, then I had twins. Okay, we hadn't planned on twins, so that was a surprise.
A nice surprise once we got over the shock.
That's a shock we wouldn't mind having. Isn't that right, Sara?
And then it was Fiona's turn. And unfortunately, as we've explained, it wasn't as straightforward as it was for me.
That's a bit of an understatement.
And a bit selfish if you ask me, especially as it's not your baby you're having.
Stop saying that. It is my baby I'm having. I'm not giving it to anyone.
But you've plenty of time to try again.
Yeah, you're young.
You got pregnant on your first IVF. The chances of you getting pregnant from another one is very high.
Look, if it's the cost, if that's what's...
Okay, she doesn't need or want to go through all that again. Okay? She's pregnant now. Cost doesn't come into it.
And I haven't had it easy either.
You don't have to justify yourself to them or to anyone else for that matter, Fiona, okay?
I'm not giving my baby away to anyone.
She's not an incubator. And as I already said, Sara, you had your chance and it didn't work. And that's just the luck of the draw.
So that's how you see this situation. Adam and I are just unlucky.
Look, the clinic obviously made a monumental cock up, if you'll excuse the expression, which is regrettable, but we all have to get on with it.
They're going to pay. Believe me. You'll see. They're going to pay.
That's not relevant to this discussion, Adam.
We came here with the best of intentions. You contacted us, remember? And in morally dubious circumstances.
Fiona stands up.
Rachel, I want to leave now.
Oh God, at last reason has prevailed.
She drains her glass and stands up too.
Just hang on for a moment.
We're done here. Come on, Fiona.
Something doesn't add up.
I don't have to explain myself.
Absolutely, Fiona. That's what I've been saying all along. Come on.
Right, it was a mistake coming here.
I know. Don't worry. We're leaving now.
Sara and Adam stand up too.
Why did you come? What exactly did you think was going to happen? That we'd meet you and think that's fine. They're okay. We don't mind our baby being brought up by 2 complete strangers who already have 2 children of their own?
On Rachel.
Fiona, out of the goodness of her heart, came here to try to give you some comfort, to make it easier for you. She wasn't thinking of herself. She was thinking of you.
Comfort. Thinking of us.
Mhm.
How would you feel if someone else was bringing up your baby? How would you feel? Go on, answer that.
Can't you see you're upsetting her? I mean, what good is this doing anyone? It's certainly not good for the baby.
She's right, Sara. Can't forget about the baby.
I'm not forgetting about the baby. Anything but. It's my baby. My baby, and I want it. I want my baby. Give me my baby.
Sara moves closer and closer to Fiona's, who's becoming more and more upset. Rachel tries to step in between them to get Sara to back off.
Get back. Stop crowding her. Don't worry, Fiona. We're leaving. This is getting out of hand. Do something.
Step back, Sara. Give her some space. Can't you see how upset she is?
But Sara doesn't move. She continues to physically intimidate Fiona.
No one's getting my baby. I'm never giving my baby away again. No one's ever going to take my baby away from me again.
Don't worry, Fiona. No one is going to take your baby.
Again? Again? Did you hear her? What's she talking about?
She's upset. You're both upsetting her. She doesn't know what she's saying. Sara, get away from her.
But Sara blocks Rachel and moves in on Fiona even more.
Oh, I think she does. What baby did you give away? Or maybe it was taken from you?
Can you please get her to back off?
Sara, take it easy. Can't you see how much you're upsetting her?
Sara doesn't back off.
Is that what happened? Was your baby taken away from you?
Lay off her. I'm warning you to lay off her. It's okay, Fiona. No one's going to take your baby away from you. We're leaving now.
Sara pushes past Sara and puts her arm around Fiona, leading her towards the door to the hall. Sara stands in front of them, blocking their exit.
No, you don't. She is not leaving here until I find out why a baby was taken away from her.
Get out of our way. We're going home. We don't have to listen to this anymore.
This could change the whole legal situation.
Get out of our way and let us out. This is assault and kidnap. You're keeping us here against our will.
Sara is face to face with Fiona.
What kind of mother has a baby taken away from her? Tell us that. What kind of a mother were you that your baby was taken away from you?
Okay, I'm calling the police.
I'm getting straight onto the Reinhardts. This is a game changer. A game changer, I'm telling you.
14-year-old one.
What?
Fiona.
14-year-old mother gets a baby taken away from her. Happy now?
Sara gets out of their way. Rachel guides Fiona to a chair.
Adam Brooks here. Put me straight through to Martin. Martin Hayes, yes.
You don't have to tell them anything.
I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was almost due. But she knew. So she'd organize everything. No one need ever know. She'd make the problem go away. I'd never have to think about it again.
Martin, can you hang on for a minute? What's she talking about? Who's this she?
Shut him and get off the bloody phone.
I'll have to call you back, Martin.
Fiona.
It didn't go away. It never goes away. Thought about it every day since then. Every single day. They took my baby away and I never even got to say goodbye.
I'm so sorry, Fiona. I'm so sorry.
She said it would be best for everyone. Best for me. But the only person it was best for was her.
Is this true?
Of course it's true. Who would lie about such a thing?
What about your father? What did he say? What did he do?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Said and did absolutely nothing. Couldn't look me in the eye. Went along with her like he always does. The path of least resistance, his philosophy of life. You'd think I'm his favorite. I'm not his favorite at all. He just feels guilty about what happened. Tries to make it up to me, but some things you can never make up for, ever.
What about your brothers? Do they know?
I don't think so. Robert was only 13. She kept it from everyone. It was never spoken of then or since.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, Fiona. I wish I'd known. I wish I could have done something to help you. All the years you've been carrying this around.
I wanted to tell you. I really did, lots of times. You don't know how many times. It's a hard thing to tell someone. It's a hard thing to bring up. You want it to go away, but it never does.
Oops.
You know where your baby went? Maybe you could meet up with him or her, see how he or she is doing.
He's a boy. The baby's a little boy.
Things have changed, you know. There's no such thing as closed adoptions anymore. That's what they told us when we inquired.
You can only find your child if they want to find you. I left my details with every adoption agency I could track down in case he ever comes looking for me, but so far he hasn't. Every time there's a strange knock on the door or an unusual looking letter in the post or an odd phone call, I think it's him or one of the agencies saying he wants to meet me.
I mean, it probably means he's happy where he is, you know, because he hasn't come looking.
Then you hear all these stories about names being changed on birth certificates. You know, the adoptive parents' names put on so there's no record of the birth parents. Some of the children don't even know they've been adopted unless their adoptive parents tell them, say he's one of them.
Have you asked her about it?
Said a local priest arranged everything, but she knew nothing about who had adopted him or what, if any, agency was used. She said she didn't want to know, and I shouldn't either. To leave the past where it belongs, in the past. That's her answer to everything she doesn't want to deal with. Everything gets left in the past.
Okay, then we'll get on to the priest. We'll track him down. We'll ask him. We'll make him tell us.
Died years ago. I went to the presbytery a while back, but they said they'd no knowledge or records of any adoptions.
Liars.
Maybe he hasn't been in touch because he doesn't want to hurt his adoptive parents. I read that adopted children often look for their biological parents when their adoptive parents die.
So he may come looking someday.
Or maybe he hasn't forgiven me for giving him away. Or worse still, he's dead. Imagine he could be dead and I'd never know.
I'm sure you'd sense it. You know, you'd sense it if he was dead.
You haven't ever sensed that, have you?
Adam,
That's what I think too. That I'd sense if something really awful had happened to him. That's what keeps me going.
how old is he now?
14. He was 14 the 15th of last month. The age I was when I had him.
Wish I'd known. I really wish I'd known.
Maybe he'll wait until he's 18.
Yeah, 18 is the new 21. You know, you can drink and
Adam,
Maybe.
I never knew you'd been with a guy.
I haven't. Not in the way you're thinking. It wasn't like that. It didn't happen that way. I wasn't with a guy the way you're thinking.
what does she mean? Are you following this?
Sara rushes over and throws her arms around Fiona.
you poor girl. You poor girl. What a dreadful thing to have happened. You were only a child yourself. He'll come looking for you. He'll come looking for you one day.
Of course he will. Sarah's right. Come on, Fiona. We'll get you home. You'll feel better when you're home.
I'm sure he'll come looking for you. Then you can explain everything to him and he'll understand.
How can I explain everything to him? What if he asks about his father?
You'll think of something to tell him. Maybe not the whole truth, but just what he needs to hear.
Sarah's right, Fiona. The most important thing will be meeting you.
Absolutely.
I couldn't get pregnant. I thought I was being punished.
Punished?
Because you had your baby taken away?
But that's ridiculous.
Ridiculous or not, that's how she felt.
It's not a logical thing.
And I know. To have some reason is better than no reason at all, or no matter how crazy the reason might seem.
Sara?
Every time I miscarry, and the implant doesn't take, I think I'm being punished for the abortion.
Abortion? When? I never knew you had an abortion.
It was just after we met.
We were together?
Don't worry, it wasn't yours. Michael and I got drunk one night, and one thing led to another. We both knew it was a dreadful mistake. Then I met you, and shortly after that, I discovered I was pregnant, so I got rid of it. I didn't want to complicate things with Michael. I'd waited so long for the divorce that I didn't want to spoil things between us.
Spoil things?
Yeah, I wanted to give us a chance. Come on, starting off a relationship pregnant with your ex-husband's child is not exactly the best start.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I was still relatively young, thought I had plenty of time to get pregnant again. You know, you were having your own difficulties with Allison and the boys.
The boys.
You have kids from your previous marriage?
2 boys, Hugo and Harry.
They're hardly boys anymore. They're both young men now.
Don't rub it in, Sara.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Allison took the boys to Australia, so Adam doesn't see them very often.
Must be tough.
Very tough.
Is it just a temporary move? Will they be coming back?
Allison's Australian.
We met in Boston. I was doing a NBA
Harvard.
football scholarship. I don't play anymore. Bust my knee, so I had to give it up. She was at MIT. She had brains to burn. I got recruited by an international bank, and she was headhunted by a major pharmaceutical company.
No one wants to hear your life story.
The girls asked me.
I'm sure they were just being polite.
No, I'd like to know.
Yeah, me too.
So we got married, moved back here, had the boys, and then she got a big job offer from ANU.
The Australian National University.
Most prestigious university in Australia. You know, it was like literally an offer she couldn't refuse. Head up a new research program. A dream job. She really couldn't say no.
You always make excuses for her.
We divorced by then, but it was amicable. I saw the boys whenever I wanted to, which wasn't all that often. When she first took them to Australia, I hardly noticed, to be honest.
Adam, that's a dreadful thing to say.
Well, that's true. No point beating around the bush. I just set up my own practice and was working day and night to get it off the ground. And you and I had...
Don't blame me.
I'm not. I'm just explaining that I didn't have a lot of time to be a single dad, okay?
Allison remarried.
An Aussie.
Bruce.
College football coach. Very butch. The boys are right little Aussies now.
How often do you see them?
Hardly ever. I make it my business to visit at least once a year, usually fit it in with a business trip or a holiday. Every year they get bigger, and the gulf between us bigger still.
What about school holidays? Can't they come here?
They don't have any interest. I've tried everything to entice them. I throw any amount of money at it, but nothing. It's ironic. I can take all the time I want to spend with them, and they've got no interest. They're getting me back, I suppose. Can't say I blame them. I was a pretty shitty dad.
They have their own lives, friends, summer camps.
I've all but given up FaceTiming them except for birthdays and Christmas. You can see that Allison has forced them to, and it's so embarrassing because we've got absolutely nothing to say to each other.
Adam really tries, but when you get nothing back, it's very disheartening.
Now they've got a baby sister.
Allison had a baby girl with Bruce and was just about to push out another.
Sara.
Super high achiever, even in the fertility department.
So that's why starting our own family is so important for me. You know, it's a second chance to do things right. When we ran into all our difficulties, I thought it was my fault for having been such a bad dad the first time around. Like I didn't deserve a second chance.
Oh, Adam.
And that maybe we're both being punished for what we did.
I don't understand.
Leaving our marriages, and in my case, kids.
I thought they'd both ended when you met.
That's the official story. It wasn't quite as neatly choreographed as that, unfortunately.
Okay, everyone's blaming themselves for something that none of us really have any control over. It just happens or it doesn't. Unexplained fertility says it all, really.
Except you.
Excuse me?
It's true. You're the only lucky one among us. Everything was easy for you. You wanted to get pregnant, and you did, on your first try. Now we have 2 lovely children.
Okay. The funny thing is, I used to never want to have kids at all. It wasn't part of my life plan, ever. Could have happily gone through life without having any. Okay.
When did you change your mind?
When I met Fiona, I knew she wanted kids, and she was very clear about that from the get-go. And even though I still wasn't interested for myself, I didn't want to deprive her of something I knew was really important to her.
Very noble.
And then the more we talked about it, the more I kind of found myself liking the idea of us having one each.
And then you had 2?
Yes, the twins, and now I can't imagine my life without them.
So you see how we feel?
Yes, yes, I do.
That's it. The solution is staring us right in the face. It's not the one that we've hoped for, of course, but
Solution? What are you going on about?
egg donation. Remember the clinic discussing egg donation?
Why are you bringing that up now?
It's so simple, don't you see? Like all the best solutions, it was right in front of our noses all along.
Adam, you're gibbering now.
You give us one of your eggs.
What?
Think about it. You have one of our eggs and our sperm, so it only seems fair to give us one of yours. Even the ledger, so to speak.
Ledger?
Listen to me, it makes complete sense. How old are you?
He's 34.
Perfect. So you're just under that vital fertility drop-off age of 35.
Okay, hold on a minute. I mean, if you want me to give you one of my eggs so that you can do another round of IVF.
Yes. What do you say, Sara? Would you be willing to give that a go? Your chances will be greatly increased with a younger egg.
Okay, but she already did a round with Fiona's eggs, admittedly, inadvertently, but Fiona's only 30, even younger than me, and it didn't work.
But she's had fertility problems. How many times did you try to get pregnant before now, Fiona?
6 times.
And you said so yourself. You got pregnant on your first ever try. So your eggs must be top quality. What do you think, Fiona? Would that be a fair way to split things off? An egg for an egg, so to speak?
It's too weird. I'm sorry.
Why weird?
Weirder than Fiona carrying our embryo?
This is the win-win solution we've been searching for. Can't you both see that?
It's worth considering, Rachel.
Okay, it's not as simple as you're making it out.
No? You have our egg and sperm, right?
Okay, all you needed to do was jerk off in a cup. Donating an egg is a much bigger deal. Anything women have to do is always a much bigger deal.
But a lot less of a bigger deal than what Fiona and I have been through.
I don't know. It feels a step too far. Like we're messing with nature just a little too much now.
Messing with nature. But that's what you did to have your twins in the first place, and what Fiona and I have done to try to have our babies. We left nature long ago, you know?
You said genes don't matter to you. That and the fact that Fiona is carrying our embryo doesn't make any difference to you. Why are you making such a fuss about donating one of your eggs?
Rachel?
I don't know. I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right about it.
Look, how about this? We'll leave you two to discuss it on your own. Come on, Sara.
Look, no point in asking what you think. As usual, you always put everyone else before us. So
Fair. I want you to do what feels right for you.
okay, look, it's okay for him. He doesn't have to have himself pumped full of hormones and then stuff taken out of him.
Both Sarah and I have had to go through a lot more than that.
Yes, because you wanted to have your own baby. This will be to give a baby to someone else.
It's not a baby, Rachel, just an egg. I'm getting worried about how you're going to feel about our baby when she's born.
She.
I have a feeling she's a she.
But what if it turns out to be a he?
We fine too?
You think I should do it, don't you?
It's completely your decision. I don't want to influence you one way or the other.
But if it was you, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Probably. It has a kind of cosmic karma ring to it, but you know me.
Would it make you feel better about all this?
It's not about me, Rachel. It's about you. It's your body, not mine.
I'll do it.
Sure? It has to be your decision and not mine. Well, that I got you into this situation in the first place.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if I hadn't gone down the IVF route, you'd never be in this position.
And then we'd never have her.
She puts her hand on Fiona's belly.
You don't have to decide now anyway. You can take more time to think about it. As much time as you need.
No. I've decided. Let's take them out of their misery. If it helps sort all this out, then it's worth it.
Then let's go.
Hallelujah.
Rachel walks over to the door and opens it. Adam and Sara practically spill into the room. They've obviously been listening behind the door.
Well, as you probably heard, yes, I will do it.
Yes, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Isn't it, darling? This requires a celebration. I'll open a bottle of bubbly, and Fiona, you want some more tea?
Yeah, not wishing to be a party pooper, but we'd like to go. It's been quite an evening.
But we got...
Okay, yeah, don't worry. I'll be in touch about the egg donation. You have my word. I never go back on my word.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea.
Are you sure you're okay to drive, Fiona? I mean, we can call you a cab. You can pick up your car tomorrow.
No, but thanks for offering, Sarah. I'm fine to drive.
Adam opens the door for them and shows them out.
Wow. That certainly didn't go according to game plan, huh?
No, it certainly didn't.
You okay? I know we didn't get what we wanted, but I mean, come on, that was always a long shot. At least we didn't come away empty-handed. We've still got some skin in the game, so to speak, right?
I know you're pleased with yourself that you've achieved some kind of result.
Pleased with myself? Come on, I'm pleased for us, for both of us. It's a step closer to what we want.
Is it?
Of course it is. Gives us a fighting chance. It dramatically increases our odds.
I'm not so sure.
You're tired.
Yes, I'm tired.
I know. It's been an emotionally draining day.
Tired of it all.
I know it's been tough, really tough, but we're a step closer now.
Are we?
Yes, of course we are.
I don't know, Adam. I just don't know if I have it in me anymore.
Of course you do. You just need to rest and build up your strength again.
What if I want to stop? To get off this eternal merry-go-round?
Is it because the baby wouldn't be genetically yours?
There is no baby.
You heard what Fiona said. The baby will be yours. It'll be growing inside you, breathing because you breathe, living because you live.
Aren't you listening to me, Adam? It's not a baby. It's just a possibility, just like all the other possibilities we've had before.
Yeah, but this time,
it has to be fertilized, then implanted, and then stay in my womb for 9 months. There's so much that could go wrong and has gone wrong for us many, many times before.
But this time could be different.
Why could it be different?
You're not making any sense.
Listen to me, please, Adam.
You'll feel differently after you've had some rest. You'll see.
Stop, Adam. Please stop.
We have to stay positive.
Why? Why exactly do we have to stay positive? I am drowning in your sea of positivity, your unshakable belief that you can fix everything. I'm sorry, but can you just please stop?
Stop?
Yes, stop.
I thought what you wanted from me was to stay positive.
It's exhausting.
Keep the show on the road at all costs.
I can't take it anymore.
That if I don't stay positive, I'll be letting you down.
Letting me down is the most positive thing you could do for me, Adam.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Absolutely sure.
You won't feel differently tomorrow.
No. I've been feeling like this for ages. I just couldn't find the words to tell you.
What I need now is a drink, a stiff drink. Whiskey. Yeah, definitely whiskey.
Pour me one too. A decent one. When water faces an obstacle, it simply flows around it.
What?
I read it somewhere. It's an ancient Chinese philosophy, I think.
What made you think about it now?
Because maybe they're right about this whole genetic thing.
It's different for them. They can never have a child that's truly genetically theirs.
Neither can we. I think it's time we've faced up to that. Stop trying to fly in the face of nature, go around the obstacle rather than trying to ram our way through it.
So you're really okay about dropping the whole idea of being a mom?
No, not at all, but maybe there's another way.
What other way?
There's plenty of babies just looking for a loving home.
Adopt? Come on, we've been through this how many times now?
This year we could have our own baby, the family we've always dreamed of. Think about it. Promise me you'll think about it.
I'll tell you what, I'll think about it on one condition.
What's that?
You'll think about the donor egg.
Oh, you never give up, do you?
So, what do you think? Do we have a deal?
Yeah, we have a deal.
You'll think about the donor egg.
Yeah, I'll think about the donor egg, but don't build up your hopes.
I won't.
She cuddles up to him.
Imagine we could be having our first family Christmas this year with our new son or daughter. Giving some unwanted child out there the chance of a better life. The win-win solution you're always searching for. How wonderful would that be?
He holds her close to him. The end.
Audience, I invite you all to unmute yourselves to applaud and clap and Director of Playwright, please come back on. Well, thank you.
Thank you for your support of the arts. ATC Studios is a 501c3, and your tax-deductible donations are always gratefully accepted. You may make a donation through our website right on the homepage at www.atcstudios.org or by Venmo at ATC Studios. Thank you for joining us.